Hello YouTube. My name is Nye from Finale Guitar and Folk Friend, and you join me in Granada in Spain. I had a message yesterday from a lady called Claire who said, can you explain how capos work? Yes, I can. Basically, what a capo does is transposes the chord shapes that you play so that you can play in awkward keys using easy shapes. The way it does that is pretty easy to imagine, really. Every time let's say you pick a string like the E string, if you put your finger on the first fret, what you've done is moved that note up by a semitone by shortening the length of the string. So if your finger is on the first fret, you are now playing F. And that's because if you look on a piano, some notes have black notes between them and other ones don't. So for example, between E and F there is no black note, so one semitone above E is F. If I go up one from F, so on the second fret of the E string, now I'm playing F sharp, which on a piano would be the black note one to the right of F. If I go up one more fret, I'm playing G. If I go up one more fret from that, I'm playing G sharp. And so on. So every time you move up one fret, if you're playing a single note on your guitar, that note moves up one semitone. If you think about a chord is just a pile of notes. It's several notes played together, like stacked on top of each other. So if you move every single one of those notes up by one semitone, you've just moved that whole chord up one. So if I take a D, let's take a D major chord for example, you can see I'm holding down three notes with my fingers in that chord, and if I move every single one of those up one and I just play those three that I'm holding down together, that's a D sharp chord compared to D. So I've just moved the whole chord up a semitone. The only problem with doing that is that in a D chord, if I play it normally, it's also got the open D string ringing out as part of the chord. And if I move this up, I've moved up three notes of my chord, but I haven't moved up the D string. So this is where your capo comes in. If I had a capo, which I'm afraid I didn't think to pack one because I didn't realise I'd be stuck here for ages and ages, but if I had one, I could put it on the first fret, and that's effectively moved where my fretboard starts from, so that it's a semitone higher. So now, if I had my capo on the first fret and I played a D shape, but here, then I'd actually be playing a D sharp chord because I've moved the whole thing up a semitone. If I played a G sharp with my capo on, if I played a G chord with my capo on the first fret, I'd be playing actually a G sharp chord, and so on and so forth. What this is really useful for is if you've got, let's say you've got a song in a key like G minor for example. G minor is a popular key to write tunes in, but on a guitar it's an absolute pain to play in because the main chord in it is a bar chord. And obviously if you're a beginner player then it's quite hard to play bar chords. However, if I've got a capo, E minor is a very easy chord shape to play, and if I put a capo on the third fret, if you think in your head, E, up one semitone, that's the first fret, that would be F. On the second fret it would be up another semitone, so it would be F sharp, and on the third fret it becomes G. So if I put my capo on the third fret and then I play an E minor shape, what I'm actually playing is G minor because I've moved it up by three semitones. That means that to play along with a tune in the key of G minor, my main chords then would be, with the capo on the third, an E minor shape, like an A minor shape, and a D major shape. So those three are very, very easy to play. So that's basically what your capo is useful for, is playing in awkward keys. The other thing you can do with capos, which I've never really talked about in my videos, but I am using it a little bit in my forthcoming book of Irish tune arrangements, is partial capoing. You can get some really interesting effects with this if you've got one of the old school mechanical capos with the sort of little metal clippy thing on them, or one of the spring-loaded ones. It doesn't work with the classical style capos that have the strap that goes around the back, sadly. But what you can do, let's say for example you're playing in a key like A minor. If you are in A minor, it's useful to have the A string as a nice bassy root note for an A minor type chord. And it's also useful to have the E string because that's the root note of your 5th chord in the key of A minor. Well, if you get your capo and you only capo the 5th fret but only on the top four strings, you've got the notes of most of an A minor 7 chord, but you've also got your A root note available with the open A string, nice and low, and your 5th root note down there on the E string. So you can use that to combine a nice bassy root note with some sort of high ephemeral atmospheric top notes to make chords out of. And you can get some really interesting effects with that. I'd love to be able to demonstrate it with a capo, but I can't because I haven't got one. But I can kind of show you the sorts of sounds you can get by just making a bar with my finger and doing that. So you could have an A minor chord like that. You could get a C major chord like that, but still with an A in the root, which sounds really sort of atmospheric and cool. Your 5 chord would be E minor, which in that, if you were doing it like that, would sound something like this. Really nice. So yeah, partial capoing is really cool. You can also do it if you're in the key of E minor. I love to partial capo E minor, it sounds wicked. You've got an E string down there, stick your capo on the 7th fret and then make an A minor shape. Use all the shapes that you would normally use for a tune in the key of A minor, but all the way up here, and just leave the bottom string off them so that you've always got an E root note ringing out under it. That is absolutely great for folk tunes, it sounds class. I can show you what it sounds like by using my fingers rather than the capo. You get things that sound like this. Kinds of things. So yeah, that's everything that you can do with capos. Last little thought for this video, somebody has made a really cool invention called a spider capo. I sadly don't have one, but they are really good because they can capo different strings at different frets. So it's as if you were playing in an open tuning. You could, for example, you can set it up so that your open strings would make the sound of a major chord when strummed because you've capoed different frets to make a chord shape with no fingers. And look, no hands. But then you can use regular chord shapes on top of that. What a cool invention. I really want one, and when I get back to the UK I will be buying one at some point. So have a look for them. I'll see if I can find a link to one as well, and I'll stick it in the box down below if you're interested in that kind of thing. But anyway, that's how capos work. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If there's anything that you would like to see me make a video about, don't hesitate to get in touch. I will always do my best to help. You can contact me through the website in the box down below, or just leave a comment. It's always nice to have comments as well. Let me know where you are, what you're doing, how you're getting on with the lockdown situation. Hopefully you're getting in loads of guitar practice. Anyway, if you want to learn loads more stuff like this, grab my ebook. You can find a copy of that linked at the end of the video. Subscribe to the channel. I make free tutorials every week and you'll get them straight to your inbox if you hit subscribe and the little bell next to it. That's very important. Yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next Friday.